Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we are going to work on a fun pair of beaded tassel earrings using our Bee Happy charms from out of our Thunderhorse Descendant 4 Seasons Inspiration Bundle. We're also going to use a couple of these. Only a couple. They're going to go on the top of my the beaded tassel over the cap. So we'll only need 2 of each. But let's turn down and we'll get started. Okay, we have a big bunch of stuff here. And besides the happies, we have a couple of bees. Somebody told me when I did my loop happies that I should put some bees with it. So it was Bee Happy. So we're got to have 2 bees as well as a happy on each tassel. Well, on 3 of the tassels. We'll probably make about 6 tassels total. So that's what we're gonna put those on the tassels. Then, like I said, we need 2 of each of these because they're going to go on the top. So we'll just pull those out of here and put them in that little dish back there so that I can keep track of where they're at. See here. Come here, you. There's the end of you. Okay. Then I'll need 2 small spacers as well to go between those. I do like a spacer between my my pieces. Also up here I have a couple of bead caps and some large ball posts and the backs of those. Those are for when we get to that portion. We actually could put these aside for right now too, because until we make the tassel we're going to hook them onto, we don't need to. We also need a needle, some wildfire, and a whole bunch of different seed beads. Now these are number 8s, and I am just going to dump a whole bunch of each color into this round dish here. And then we'll set whatever colors those are aside. If we need more, we can always make a bigger batch. Since, well, we have some to make. Now, obviously, this is going to be a multi-metal piece because our bees are silver. And our Bee Happy is got gold on the back, and then our bead caps are gold, but we're going to use a stainless steel ball head. And incidentally, I think I have a couple of little spacers right here, gold ones. Those can go between the 2 beads. So because the Happy has all these colors on it, yellow, blue, orange. Unfortunately, I don't have a opaque red, since the other ones are all opaque, and we do not have a dark green, but we do have all these wonderful colors that we're going to mix up here. So I'm going to loosen this red one up here. We'll pour some of the red in. I was going to use the blue and clear seed beads that Randee included in our mix, or our bundle, but the problem is that there wouldn't have been enough. We're making a tassel. Tassels take a lot of beads, especially depending on how long you want to make it. Now, there's some clear. Now we'll just stir this up with our finger. See that? Nicely, and it matches nicely with our Bee Happy. So our Bee Happy is obviously going to go on a smaller tassel length than the others because we don't want it to be way long hanging, but we don't want it to be hidden either, so we're going to make our regular tassels about maybe half the length of the Bee Happy one. So the first thing we need to do is to, now that we've done this, or these are also is going to be the ending beads for the ones that don't have a charm on the bottom, these silver ones here. So we'll color some of those out. Definitely don't need that many because I'm not making that big of a you know, that many legs on my tassel. Probably only have 6 to 10, depending on how full they get. So, because we got to remember, it has to go inside our bead cap. So, those are our ending beads. These are our beads for our tassel. And we'll just dump those out and just feed them on however they want to go. We're not going to worry about a specific way. Now I will get this needle out. It's got thread on it now, but of course we'll take it off because we don't need that thread. That thread is white, and we are going to use black. Well, besides, this would not be anywhere near long enough. So we need to get some black thread out, as well as we need a piece of wire, and I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, the first thing we want to do is get a piece of wire. Now this is bronze wire, or is it copper? Whatever, doesn't matter. It was an extra piece, so we just need to cut a couple of lengths off of it. And we want, oh, it doesn't need to be, it's probably about this long is good. So let's cut 2 pieces since we have to make 2 earrings, obviously. And then we will put our extra piece of wire back away in my wire drawer. So the next thing we need to do as far as the wire is concerned is get it as straight as we can. So there we go. And now then I'm going to take my round nose pliers. These, because they have a little tiny piece, and I want just a little tiny loop. So we want to make a tiny little loop at the end of our wire, so that we can make, this is for to bead our through. So tiny little loop. We don't want a big loop because we're going to put a stop bead on the end of our thread, and that stop bead cannot go through this loop. We got to make sure of that. So that's why we want a tiny little loop. So here's my tiny loop. As you can see, I want it to be just like an eye pin, but tiny. And this one is much better than this one. This one did not curve real well, so let's see if we can get it to fix that. Actually, I'm just going to cut this straight piece off so that I can recurve it here. So, in to make our curve, like so, and then we will make our bow. There we go. So now our next step is to get our wildfire out, and you'll need quite a bit. So say, about a wingspan, as they call it, from arm to tip of your arm. So then once we've got that on, we'll cut that. And of course this can be cut with regular scissors, but you might want them to be pretty sharp. We'll set that aside until we get to our second earring. So in order to easily thread our needle, flatten out the first little bit of your wildfire with your pliers. Now, like I say, we need to take the white off of here so that we can then thread the black on. See how that's nice and flat there now? So it should go through the hole relatively easily. And I went up a little bit so that I could grab hold of it. And now you'll just bring your thread down to where you want it. I bring it quite a ways, and then as we use it, I will bring it up some, because that way it's easier to bead with. So now I'm just going to take one of these little silver beads here. I'm going to run it to the bottom. And I'm going to tie it in a knot right here. This is my stop bead. It's going to sit right like so. And if you want a longer tail, just work it so it works up a little higher. Now the first thing you do is you go through your eye and just bring it up to your stop bead. There you go. We're at our stop bead. This one can go over here because we're not going to be using it yet, along with two of these. Well, the Bee Happy and two of the bees. So now what we want to do is we want to dump out some of our seed beads. It's much easier to pick them up off the mat. And then you need to decide how long of a length you want to make your little tail. Now remember, part of your tail is going to be going up into your bead cap, so you want a little extra and then what you would normally do. And it doesn't matter if you want to make a pattern with your beads or not, you can just go up the line as you see fit. And like I say, you want to decide how long you want it to be. I usually make about 25 to 30. We're gonna want our Bee Happy to be sitting like so when we get to that point. So we want this to be probably another 5, maybe 6. Let's see how many we have on right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I am going to put on probably another 10 maybe. So like I say, you just keep beading till you get to the point where you want to quit. You've got it long enough as you want it, and then, well, I'll show you when we get to that point. Okay, so here we go so far. So as I say, we're just going to go up until we decide that we would be happy with it in the tassel, in the bead cap. Remember, the bead cap does have to go into the bead cap with however many I put. So that is one thing you need to think about. How long is it sitting with your bead cap? So here we go. And pull it up, and see, it's hanging out about so much. I still would want it to be a little further because I want my happy to come down at least 5 or 6 beads, but maybe not much, maybe 1 bead, 2 beads, something like that. So again, let's see how many we have. 5, 10, 15, let's make it 20. 2 more, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, now we've got 20. So what we want to do now is take one of these silver beads from over here, And then we want to go through all of these beads. Go back through them without bringing in the silver bead. The silver bead is sort of another stop bead, but on our tassel instead of on just holding it in. It's on our beaded tassel. So these have to go through all of our beads. And if it doesn't want to, you can do it in stages instead of just pushing it all the way through at once. I tend to like to pull it all the way through at once if I can, but you don't have to. So then what we do is we take hold of our little stop bead here and we pull. And it's going to bring it all the way up to where we're at. And then we pull her tight. Now the next thing we want to do is ascertain which way this thread came through here, and we want to go back through. And now there's one leg of our tassel. Now we are going to start the next one, but we have to decide, do we want to put one of the bees on, or the happy this time around, or do we just want to keep stringing? I personally am going to put on the happy right now, and I'm going to put it on at like 10, and I think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, let's see where that's going to sit my happy at. And I think I'm going to put on another 3 or 4. So, and I think that's going to do it. So now what we're going to do, instead of putting on a bead, we're going to put on this charm. And then back through the beads. So now our Bee Happy, our charm, is working as our stop bead. Sorry, I bumped the camera there. So it comes up here. See how that's going to hang there beside it? And now we have to go through our little loop again to the other side. And yes, this little loop is going to get a big workout by the time we're done. So here we are with our one thorough tassel and our one with the Bee Happy on it. So now we're back to this again, and we decide whether we want our bee to be lower or higher. I'm thinking about right here. So now we want to string some beads again so that we pull the little bee to where we want it to be. So just string up as many as we want here. Now let's see where we're sitting at with this. Maybe just one more. I think we'll go for a red. Now again, we're going to have the bee go through just like the stop, as if it was a stop bead. Now we need to go through all the beads here. And I'm not getting any of them. Let's go. Come on, grab the red and the blue. Okie dokie. Now pull it all the way through. And now we have our bee as well as our happy and our one full tassel. So there we go. Oops, she's flipping. That's all right. It's probably going to be flipping all the time as we work with this. So now we need to go back through our loop again. In case you haven't figured that out, we need to go through the loop every time we make a new tassel strand. Okay, so now we can make our second bee up higher, down lower, however we want it. And then we'll probably make at least 1 or 2 more long tassels. So maybe I'll just make one of the long tassels right now. I'll just dump out some more beads and just start putting them on. Now you can make this the same length as your original longer tassel, longer, shorter. This is entirely up to you. This is a rather asymmetrical little tassel. We don't need it to be perfect. It's just highlighting our word happy and our little beads, our little bees. So this is our long one. So if we want to match it up, we'll just need a few more beads here. Now when I'm making a beaded tassel, I usually am making just the beaded tassel, not anything extra on it, so I do count my beads and make them be the same length. This is one of those things that it's like, you can if you want, you don't have to, because it's going to be wherever it wants to be. So I'm going to put one more orange bead on, and then we'll get the silver and go back. Now on a beaded tassel, I like to have at least 6 tassel arms. 10 is better if you can get that many out of whatever beads you, string you gave yourself. And that is imperative because, let's face it, you have to tie this string off once you get to the end. So see how we're doing so far? Now we need to put the other bee on. Like I say, we need to decide on its length. Is it going to be longer than this one? Shorter? How's it going to work? I think it's going to be longer. I want it to be closer in length to the end of the Bee Happy. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Now you can see my thread is getting close here, so I am going to give myself a little more. Not a lot, just a little. And then I'm going to make the strand with the other bee, and then we're going to do at least one more regular strand, and we'll see if we can do more than that. So let's get started. Come on. And I may have made myself a lot more of a mix than I needed, but I'd rather have too much than have to do a lot of wrangling with the beads, so this is fine. Now if I was going to make it the same length as the other bee, I only have 2 or 3 more to put on. But I think I'm going to make it a little bit longer so they're not, you know, the same. I want him to swing down, I think, a little bit lower than his buddy. And he's about to do that right now. So I think we can, and that will make him about the same length as the bottom of the Happy, I think, even. So we'll give one more bead, and then we're going to stick on our bee. Oops. Come on, little guy, go on there. Now we need to string back through our beads. Now if you have trouble getting through the whole line at once, you can just like pop out like this and then whoop, go back in. Make sure you get all of the beads though. And we're popping out again and back in again to these last ones. Now we go back through our, well, we got to get it tightened up. It's not all the way up here. There we go. And it's here on this side. So we got to go back this way. And here's what we're looking like so far. I can put it in the bead cap so you see it better. Come here, bead cap. That is another thing you have to be aware of. You need to have room in your bead cap for how many strands you make your tassel be. Now I think I've got room for at least 1 or 2 more strands. So, and we have 5 strands here. So let's get a couple more strands on here. And these are of course going to be regular strands, just the longer one, so that it will float around the Bee Happy. Let's compare. I think that we're good right there as far as length with our buddy is concerned. But if we want, we could put 1 more on and then put our silver bead on. And go up our line. Come on, we got 1 more bead there. Okay, there we go. Now, as you can see, I let the thread almost get so long that it's staying inside. So again, I want to move my needle up the thread some so I have more thread to work with here. There is our tassel so far. And we have 6 lines on. I think we're going to do at least one more, then we'll check it in our bead cap. So we go back through our loop here in our wire. Oh, I bent my wire. Didn't mean to do that. So then we will see what she's looking like, number 1. I think she looks sort of fun, don't you? Now I think we're going to do at least one more bead strand. We'll see if we can get 2 in. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, yes, 6 strands. 7's a nice number if we can get a 7th one in there. 7th one in there. So let's just start stringing our beads here. So have any of you folks made beaded tassels before? I think they are fun, so I like to make them. We need at least a few more beads here. That's the Bee Happy strand. I don't want to... Yeah, we need at least a few more. So... And like I say, I'm not making this one to be perfectly the same as all its buddies, so it doesn't matter if I make this one. Oops, I don't want 2 colors right beside each other though. We'll go for orange here. So it doesn't matter if they're one's a little longer than the other one or one's a little shorter, because like I say, I'm not trying to be perfect with these. So I think this one's good. So we'll put the little silver stopper bead on and go up the line here. You'll notice I sit it down straight as much as possible so that I can get as many as I can. And I frequently can get the whole line, but every once in a while I just can't. So there we go. That's this one. So now we need to find which side it's on. Looks like it's on this side, so feed it through the ring in the copper piece again. So there we go. All these babies are in here. So now we'll put it up into our bead cap again, see how she fits. Okay, get out of there. I think I maybe can get at least one more strand up in there. See how that sits like in there? Is it happy inside our pretty colorful earring pieces there? But I think, see, we have a gap right there. I think I can get one more, at least one more strand of beaded stuff through into our hole. So let's bead one more up. like I say, any particular way, but I don't like two beside each other when they're the colors, pretty colors like these. So we'll just keep stringing. And that will be 8 strands by the time we're done here. Well, 8, maybe 9 if we can get one more up in there. We'll see. Now, if you had a really big bead cap, you could put numerous strands in, and that would be up to you whether you did that or not. I think we need a few more here. And I'd say that's the most, that's all we really need, so we'll get a silver one. Go back through this line. Come on, baby. What did I do here? Ooh. Okay. Now we get to see what you do when you make a mess. Okay, what did I do here? Right. This guy comes down here. Pull you back up properly. There we go. We're good now. But I still have a few more beads I need to get into the thread right here. But it looks like it's just 2, so that's good. Okay. Now we need to go back through the other side again. So it's to this way. Okay. Now how many strands do we end up having here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, we have 8. Let's see what if it's going to fit into our cap, and do we need to put on it? Can we put on another so we have a 9? Okay. Well, I'm thinking 8's going to be it. So we'll, since we're done here at 8, I have got a lot of extra cordage that I needed, but that's all right. What we need to do now is to we need to find where the thread is. There it is, from our stop bead, and we're going to tie a knot. Then I'm going to go through my copper piece again, and then I'm going to tie knots as I pull it out, because we want this knot to come loose on either side. So I'm going to go through the stop bead and then through my knot here. Okay, I think I'm good enough to burn my threads off here, so we'll get my thread zapper and we'll burn these 2 extra threads off, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so thread zapper, if you've never used one, it's got this little button. See how red hot it gets there? Then you want to just tap your thread, both pieces. Did I get that other piece off? I'm not sure. Let's see. There we go. So put the lid back on so it doesn't get damaged. We'll keep it because we're going to need it for the next one. Put this aside here. So now what we want to do is we want to take that bead cap and we want to put it over our earring piece, like so. Now I'm going to take the bigger of the 2 rondelles here and feed it onto this wire. Then I'm going to get that spacer and feed it on. Oop, come here, you. And then the little guy here. So there he is. So then all we want to do is we're going to let's see which way do we want this to go? Okay, we want it to go this way so that the Bee Happy is looking this direction. Fold it. Get our bell making pliers up and over and around, down. Leave a gap for your ear wire to go on. Feed it on. Let's see, where's the happy at? Right here. So we want it to feed around here, and then it's going to, yeah, that's good. So then we hold this and we wrap. And I think that's it. So we'll trim off our extra wire here. Push that in, tuck it, and then we have to put our backer onto our post, and there we go. There's our first tasseled Bee Happy earring. Now, to a degree, you can wiggle your tassel pieces around so they fit more the way you want them to, but there is our first one. Like I said, we're not the same length. That's fine. That's what I wanted anyway. So there is earring number 1. Earring number 2 will be made exactly the same way. So I will get some more wildfire out, because even though I have quite a bit still left on this, it's not going to be enough for this whole earring. So we will get more beads out. We'll get our happy and our 2 bees. Now I am going to want to keep these sort of the same length. So I am going to pay attention when I put my happy in to how long it ends up. Because some of it is in the cap, though, we've got to remember we've got to give it room for that cap, because otherwise we are not going to have enough room for it to go through. So we're going to get our wildfire out again. My tail is trying to come out of here as well as my regular area here, which is sort of irritating me. But that's all right. I'll tuck it back in for we. So we didn't need quite as much as I cut, but I'm going to cut close to the same amount anyway. Ooh, I'm running out of wildfire. But because I don't want to run out when I need to do that 9 strands, so it matches the others. That is what we have, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 strands on it. So we need to squish our thread here again. Like I say, I squish a ways down so that I have more to go through when it goes through. And I can grab it more easily. So we're going to pull it way far down here. That's good. Then we're going to put that silver bead on. And I'm going to leave a little more, try and leave a little more tail on it this time so that I have more tying space when we get to that point. Nope, up here. There we go. That's good. So now, first step, go through the wire with your needle. I mean well, it is wire, copper wire. Then we get the stopper bead up there and we start beading whichever one we want to first. So I could put the Bee Happy on first and get that to the pretty much the length I want it. That's one of those preference things. And if it wasn't already in the cap, I could count my beads to see about how many I had. It looks like I had at least 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, probably about 15 beads before our happy. And I have 10 on right now. And that's 15. So let's see if we can compare them a little bit. As you can see, we're at right here without going in the cap. So I think we're as far as we're going to go as far as the happy is concerned. So let's just put the happy on right now and be done with happy. Well, we're never gonna, I don't get done with happy. I'm a pretty happy person, so. So through all the beads. Come on, red one. You too. Oop. There we go. And pull her up. So there she is. We got our happy on. So she needs to go back through the wire to the other side. The copper wire, not through the loop. So there is our first piece done. Now I'm going to do one of the longer strands, which comes, oops, don't want to do that, do we? Lose our pieces. Uh-oh, my little one's not in there. Well, it's down here somewhere. I must have, there it is. So then we will get our long one, we will get it, it looks like our other ones are going to about, ending at about the Y. So we'll just keep going till we get to about the Y, and then we'll do a couple of these like this, and then we'll put some bees on. So on they go. We just need just a few more because we want it to go to about right here. So I think maybe 2, 3. Let's go with 3, shall we? Maybe even one more. Let's go one more. And then we'll get our silver bead. And go through the line. Yep, didn't quite make it. Okie dokie. There's 2. And we need to go back through our little copper ring. Now we got a choice. Go keep doing on the long ones, or we could work on one of the bees. I don't think it makes any difference which one you work on, so just work away. Okay, one of these bees was, it looks like on the end, right below at the A, and the other one was at where the P ends. So I think we'll put a bee on here. I'll just decide when we get to the spot that's closest. think one more bead and then our bee. Now, incidentally, if you miss a bead as you go up, you will knock it off the line. So that's just something to think about. Come on. There we go. Let go of things over here. Okay. Okay. That one's in now. Find which way it's at. Go through our ring. Come on, go through the ring. Okay. Now I think we'll just do another line of regular. Through the loop again. Okay. Now let's make sure we have the right amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now that we have the right amount, we need to tie these strings off. And now that I left a larger length for the stop bead, I have more thread to work with for tying my knot here. Now I leave my stop bead on. You can take it off after before you tie the knot if you want to do it that way. I just leave it on because it's not really hurting anything. Now again, once you're pleased with your knots, you can either cut them or use the thread zapper to get them off of there. There we go. And then I'll put my thread zapper away because we are done with it for right now. I did cut myself obviously less wire that time, which is good. Okay, so now that we've got that done, we've got the pieces where we want them, or as much as we can. Then we're going to put our bead cap on. Oh, come on, go on there. So, then our big bead. And as you can see, I had a lot more wire than I needed, so you could have used definitely less than I used here. So now that we've got that all on, we need to decide which way. Okay. Where are you at, Happy? Come up here. I want your strand to be more in the front here. Okay. Bend her over. The bell making pliers out. Make her loop, bring her around, bring her down, open her up a little bit, slip our little post on there. I got it the right way. Looks like pretty much. Then I'm going to hold it, pushing it together, and I'm going to wrap it. Okay, I think that's good. So we'll cut the excess. And snug her into there. And then she just needs her cap and she's done. Or her back, I should say. Where are you? And there we go. There is our Bee Happy Tassels. Now, that baby wants to work its way wherever it wants, and that's all right. We can work with that. It will, you know, you can play with the tassel strands and bring them forward or move them around. See, I got this one pretty much to the front with the Bee Happy, the Happy, but it's off to one side, so you can work your tassel a little bit to make it go to more of where you want it to be at. Like, let's see. Oh yeah, we're pretty good. No, we went back to the back. We want to be in the front. So let's work you up here. Yeah, it's like that. There we go. Aren't those pretty? Now, I have, as you can see, a whole bunch of extra of my mix. And I'm not going to try and separate it again. It's just going to go into a tube or a baggie or something and save it for another time. These can go back in their mix, their bottle, because there wasn't very much of them left. And I never did mix them with the others, so they can just go back into their bottle. And that one is all done. So there's our earrings. I will put the needle back in its spot so we don't lose it, but those are our Bee Happy earrings. And to me, they're pretty happy. So there we have it. There are our Bee Happy tassel, beaded tassel earrings. They'll shake around. As they are worn, they will loosen up some so that they're not so tightly up there. But I think they turned out really cute. I think they are a very happy earring. And I hope you enjoyed making these with me. Anyway, as I said, these are my Bee Happy's earrings from the Bee Happy, and the two beads at the top are from my Thunderhorse Descendant Inspiration Bundle, the 4 Seasons, Summer Solstice. The little bees and all of the little seed beads are from my stash, and I actually took the bead cap out of Softflex's lavender lemonade mix. So there we go. Aren't those pretty? I hope you enjoyed making these with me. I think they are fun. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.